Welcome back to my channel. Today back to a new video, and in this video we are going to start your class 7 chapter number 2, New Kings and Kingdom of History. Okay, so this is your part 2 video. Let's continue with this video. And in previous video we have already discussed this topic, that from warfare to wealth. Now we are going to discuss this topic from Urayur to Thanjavur. How did the Cholas rise to power? A minor chiefy family known as the Muttrayar held the power in Kaveri Delta. They were subordinate to the Pallava kings of the Kanchipuram. Vijayalaya, who belonged to the ancient chiefy family of Cholas from Urayur, captured the delta from the Muttrayar. In the middle of 9th century, he built the town of Thanjavur and a temple for goddess Nishambhasudhini. So it means we are talking in this para that how the Cholas are rise in power and how the chiefy family is known as the Muttrayar. Okay, and they had a power in the Kaveri Delta. Okay, and they were subordinate to which? They are subordinate to Pallava kings or Kanchipuram. And Vijayalaya is that who belongs to the ancient chiefy family of the Cholas from Urayur. He belongs to Vijayalaya of chiefy family of Cholas from Urayur. Okay, and he captured the delta from the Muttrayar also in the middle of 9th century. It's clear to know. And he built the town of Thanjavur also and a temple for goddess Nishambhuni there. He builds two things, Thanjavur and the temple goddess Nishambhasudhini there. Okay, now next para is the success of Vijayalaya conquered neighboring region, and the king grew in size and neighboring regions. And the king grew in size and the power. The Pandyan and the Pallava territories to the south and the north were made part of this kingdom. So it means the successors of Vijayalaya conquered. The successors of Vijayalaya conquered in the neighboring regions, and the kingdoms grew in size, in which they are growing in kingdoms are growing in size and the power. Okay, and the Pandyan and the Pallavas territories. The Pandyan and the Pallava territories to the south and the north were made of the part of his kingdom. He had made this south and north part of this kingdom. Okay, these two territories. Now come on your next page. The Raja I, considered the most powerful Chola ruler, became king in 1985 and expanded control over the most of these areas. He also recognized the administration of the empire. Raja's sons Rajendra I continued his policies and even raided the Ganga Valley, Sri Lanka and the countries of Southeast Asia, developing a navy for these expeditions. It means the Raja I is the most powerful Chola ruler, and he became king in 985. He has control over the most of these areas. Okay, and he also recognized the administration of the empire. And the son of Raja I is Rajendra I, and Rajendra I continues his policies and raided for the Ganga Valley, Sri Lanka and the other countries of Southeast Asia, in which he has covered the area. And he is developing a navy for these expeditions. Okay, now he is developing the navies, militaries, armies in this way. Now come in your next topic, that is your splendid temples and bronze sculptures. Okay, the big temples of Thanjavur and the Ganga Goikonda Cholapuram, built by Raja and the Rajendra I, are the architectural and the sculptural marvels. Now in this para he is talking the big temples of Thanjavur and the Ganga Goikonda Cholapuram also. These are two states. These states temples built by the Raja I and his son Rajendra I also are the architectural and the sculpture marvels with this. Okay, now come on next para of this topic. Chola temples often became the nuclei of settlements which grew around them. These were centers of craft productions. Temples were also endowed with the land by the rulers as well as by others. The produce of this land. Okay, so it means the Chola temples, which are the Cholas temples, often they also became the nuclei settlements. They also grew them here also, and these centers of craft productions, in these centers the temples were endowed with the land. By which they are endowed? The temples were endowed by the rulers as well as by others also. They are endowed by the rulers' land and by the others also. And the produce of this land went into maintaining all the specialists who work at the temples and very often lived near it, like priests, garlands, makers, cooks, sweepers, musicians, dancers, etc. And we were putting here to produce of this land, we are maintaining the specialist workers for the temples also, because the temples, in temples we have also maintained the things, and for maintaining things we have to live near it, the temples, because the people not come from many far to temple. So the peoples who are working at the temples that have to live near the temple, that peoples, and that peoples they keep, the kings are keep it like the priest, garlands makers, cooks, sweepers, musicians, dancers, etc. In other words, temples were not only places of worship, they were the hub of economic, social and cultural life as well. In this way, it is saying here, here is saying the temples are only not a place of worship and doing puja like things. They are not like these things. They were the things in which we can do the economic, social and cultural life as well as. Okay, coming to know your next para. Amongst the crafts associated with the temples, the making of bronze images was the most distinct gift. Chola's bronze images are considered amongst the finest in the world. While most images were the deities, sometimes images were made of devotes as well. So here in this para, here is talking about the among crafts. You can see here, there's a beautiful sculpture of lady, and this is associated with the temples. This is making up with the bronze images, and this is the most beautiful in the world. And the Chola bronze images are considered in this way also, and they are finest in the world. They are very beautiful in the world. Okay, the most images while here were the of deities, and sometimes these images made up of devotees as well. Okay, come to your next topic, that is your agriculture and irrigation. Many of the achievements of the Cholas were made possible through new developments in agriculture. Look at map 2 again. Notice that river Kaveri branches off into several small channels before the emptying into the Bay of Bengal. These channels overflow frequently, depositing the fertile soil on the banks. From the channels also provide the necessary moisture for agriculture, particularly the cultivations of rice. So in this way we are talking about the agriculture and irrigations. In this way, many of the achievements of Cholas were made possible for developing any agriculture thing. This is a hard working of the Cholas. Cholas were do possible for this, for developing agriculture in our world. You can look again in map 2. You can notice there the river Kaveri has branches off into several many channels, and small they are channels, and they are emptying with the Bay of Bengal. These channels overflow frequently, okay, and they are depositing fertile soil on the banks. Water from the channels are also provides the necessary moisture for agriculture. The water of channel provides us very important things. They are providing us the moisture of agriculture, and they are providing the particularly rice. of cultivating. Coming to your next para of this topic, although agriculture as developed earlier in other part of Tamil Nadu, it was only from the 5th and the 6th century that is the area was opened up from the large scale cultivations. Forests have to be cleared in some regions. Land had to develop in other areas. They are leveled. In the delta region, embankments has to be built to prevent the flooding, and the canals have to be constructed to carry the water in the fields. So here in this para we are talking about the agriculture. Now here agriculture is developed in the other areas also, like in Tamil Nadu here is it developed, and here only in the 5th and the 6th century this area was opened with the large scale of cultivations, and the forests have to be now cleared. This is very bad thing. Now forests have to be cleared, and in some regions, the delta regions also, now we have to clear the rolled land in the leveled form, and in delta region the embankments had to be built now, and to prevent the floating, and the canals to constructed to carry the fields in the water, because if there is no embankment, so how can we flooding the canals to be constructed to carry water in the fields? Okay, so this is the reason behind it. In many areas, 2 crops were grown in a year. Now here in a year, the 2 crops are growing every year. Come to your next para. In many cases, it was necessary to water crops artificially. A variety of methods were used for irrigations. In some areas, wells were dug. In other places, huge tanks were constructed to collect the rainwater. Remember that irrigation that required planning, organizing the labor and resources, maintaining these works, and labor decided this resourcing, maintaining these works, and deciding on how water is to be shared. Most of the new rulers, as well as the people living in the village, took an active interest in these activities now. So in this para we are talking about the cases that are necessary to give the water in a crops, and there are variety of methods for doing the irrigation now, and in some areas we have to dig the wells also, and in other places there are the huge tanks, because if we not have the tanks, so how can we construct the rainwater? And for constructing the rainwater we have to build the tanks also from there. And remember that irrigation required the planning. Without planning we cannot do the irrigation, because irrigation needs many more plannings, yes, and organizing the labor's resources, maintaining these works. Now labor are also participating in this, and every rulers, most of the new rulers and as well as the people living in the village, they are also active in these activities. They are taking the interest in this also. Okay, our next topic is administration of the empire. How was the administration organized? The settlements of the peasants, known as became the phosphorus with the spread of irrigation agricultures. Group of such villages formed the large units called Nadu. This village council, the Nadu, performed the several administrative functions, including the dispensing justice and the collecting taxes. Now in this para we are talking how to do administration. So for doing administration, we have to organize the administration for the settlements of peasants. The settlements of peasants, first of all you have to know what is the means the settlements of peasants. They are the phosphorus. They are becoming phosphorus to spread the agriculture all over the world and the irrigation. Group of such villages forms the units called Nadu. A very important question, mark in your book that what is Nadu. This is come in every paper and every year. So you have to write the answer of this Nadu is group of people, such villages from the larger unit called Nadu. Now There is some village council also, and that village council and the Nadu performed several administrative functions. Now you understand who performed the administrative functions. So the village council and the Nadu performed these administrative functions, which includes the dispensing justice, and they are doing the they are collecting the taxes from it. Come to your next para. Rich peasants of the Valala caste exercised considerable control over the affairs of Nadu under the supervision of central Chola government. This Chola king gave some rich landowners titles like Muvandalenval, Valen of peasants serving the three kings. Arayar means the chief, etc. as markers of respects and entrusted them with important officers of the states of the center. Now in this para we are talking about the rich peasants of Valala caste. The rich peasants belong to Valala caste and they are exercised to control over all the affairs of Nadu. Nadu is under the supervision of central Chola government. Now they are going to control over there, and the Cholas kings were gives and richer landowners. They are give only to richer landowners titles like Muvandavelan means the Velan of the peasant serving three kings, and Arayar means like chief, and like this names the kings given to their landowners which are rich. They are marked with the respects and instructive with them, with the very important officers of this state at this center. Now come to your next page. Okay. Saying bye to you everyone. Thanks for watching my video. This is your next page to say bye. And don't forget to subscribe my channel, press the notification bell, and put the button like gray. And this is today's video. Thanks for watching my video. Bye bye. Goodbye. Meet you soon in next video, part 3. Bye bye.